Please take a second to subscribe, then like and share afterwards. We can really use your support. Thank you. In our previous episode, we ended in the swirling chaos of Babel. Humanity was scattered, and the 70 nations were placed under new management, the Divine Council. God's response was a cosmic reorganization, a disinheritance. We will witness this council in session in our final climactic episode. But before we get there, Babel forces a deeper, more disturbing question. Why was the world at Babel already so corrupt? What had so twisted the human heart that their first act of unity was an empire of pride? The answer to that lies not on the plains of Shinar, but in events that happened centuries before the flood, in two catastrophic rebellions that poisoned heaven and earth. This is the story of the two revolts. The first is in an act of pride. We see its shadow in Genesis 3 with the serpent in the garden. But to understand the serpent, we have to look higher. The prophet Ezekiel gives us a glimpse, speaking of a being of unimaginable beauty and power. You were the signet of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were an anointed guardian cherub. This being walked among the fiery stones of the divine council itself. But as Isaiah tells us, his heart grew proud. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. Above the stars of God, I will set my throne. I will make myself like the Most High. This was the first revolt, a coup attempt in the highest heaven. It was a sin of the spirit, of ambition, jealousy, and a desire to seize the throne of the universe. The judgment was swift. You were cast out to the ground. This being, now called Ha-Satan, or Satan, the adversary, was cast down from the council, his full sentence deferred. He became, as Scripture later calls him, the prince of the power of the air, the god of this age. His first and primary act on earth, to target the seed. In the garden, he didn't just tempt, he sought to corrupt the image of God itself, to break the divine and human bond. The seed war was declared right there. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. The war of the ages began not with swords, but with a lie. For a time, humanity stumbled under this corrupting influence, but then came a second, even more catastrophic rebellion. Turn now to Genesis 6. It's cryptic, almost poetic. The sons of God saw that the daughters of man were attractive, and they took as their wives any they chose. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days. Who are these sons of God? The Hebrew phrase is Beni Elohim. It's a title used elsewhere in Scripture exclusively for members of the Divine Council, the heavenly beings in God's service. Here, they are not in heaven. They are on the earth. They are seeing, and they are taking. Ancient Jewish texts, like the Book of Enoch, preserve the terrifying memory of this event. It tells of 200 watchers, divine beings who made a pact. They descended, tradition says, upon Mount Hermon, and took human wives. But their sin went far beyond lust. They taught humanity forbidden knowledge, the crafting of swords and armor, the secrets of sorcery and astrology, the art of deception and warfare. It was a transgression of the fundamental boundary between heaven and earth, spirit and matter. They corrupted not just human morals, but human nature itself, producing a hybrid race, the Nephilim, the giants, whose very existence filled the earth with violence. God's response was total surgical judgment, the flood. The waters cleansed the earth of the physical corruption. The Nephilim were destroyed. But what of the immortal fathers, the Watchers? The flood couldn't kill them. Their judgment was different. The New Testament books of 2 Peter and Jude preserve this ancient teaching. God did not spare angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to chains of gloomy darkness to be kept until the judgment. They were bound, imprisoned, removed from the world they sought to corrupt. And here we find the origin of a great evil. In the Book of Enoch, God pronounces a chilling sentence on the spirits of the dead Nephilim. You were formerly spiritual, but now the giants who are born from the union of the spirits and the flesh, evil spirits they shall be on the earth. Their disembodied spirits would remain, becoming the unclean spirits, the demonic entities that plague humanity. Do you see the landscape now? This is the world after the flood. This is the world Noah and his family stepped into. The earth was washed clean, but the spiritual infection remained. A rebellious overlord, Satan, was still active. His imprisoned lieutenants, the Watchers, were bound, but their influence lingered. And the legion of disembodied, malignant spirits, their offspring, now roamed the earth. This is why Babel happens. It's not just human ambition. It's humanity in a spiritually compromised, vulnerable state, quickly re-embracing the patterns of the Watchers, seeking forbidden knowledge, trying to make a name for themselves, to reach heaven by their own design. It's the Second Revolt's spirit, echoing in human hearts. And this is why God's response at Babel was so profound. It wasn't just punishment, it was administration. It was quarantine. By scattering humanity and delegating their oversight to the divine council, God was containing a pandemic. He was structuring a world now doubly infected by spiritual rebellion. And this changes everything about what comes next. Because into this poisoned, demon-haunted world, God makes a choice. He will not abandon his creation to the chaos of the two revolts. He will launch a reclamation project, but it will require a single, secure point of entry, a beachhead, utterly protected from the corruption, a people separated, holy, set apart, a nation through whom a pure, uncorrupted seed would finally be brought into the world to do what the flood could not. Defeat not just the symptom, but the source. The war declared in Eden would be answered. The sentence passed on the Watchers would be executed. But first, God needed a people. He needed a land. He needed a line. He needed a beachhead. And that is where our story turns next. Up next, we connect the deepest threads of biblical prophecy as God disinherited the nations and creates a single beachhead on earth, Israel. Here on Secrecies Uncovered.